Hi there, I'm Dr. Rebecca McCutcheon, and I'm a senior lecturer here at the Department of Drama, Theatre and Dance at Royal Holloway. And I'm a lecturer in acting and directing and a director myself. And today we're going to be talking about Konstantin Stanislavski's system of actor training and active analysis. So the three main things we'll be thinking about today, the first will be Stanislavski's early work, particularly the idea of the psychophysical approach, which underpins his understanding of training actors. Um, Linked to this is the centrality of experiential performance. So the idea of presentational rather than representational performance, which led to a really strong focus, particularly on the use of emotion memory. And we'll also touch upon his later work, which worked in integrating textual analysis with improvisation, which he called active analysis. And we'll also explore the role that his collaborator, Maria Nabel, played in ensuring that this significant practice is understood today. So, Konstantin Stanislavski was born in 1863 to a wealthy manufacturing family who actually disapproved of his wanting to be a professional performance, but nevertheless, in 1897, he co-founded the Moscow Arts Theatre with playwright Vladimir Nemirevich Danchenko. And this was a company which went on to have a profound impact on European theatre. Chief among their aspirations in this work was to move away from star-led productions to cultivate an ensemble of actors and to develop with them a coherent and unified vision of a play. In 1898, Stanislavski directed Anton Chekhov's drama The Seagull, and together with the Moscow Art Theatre, the style of realist theatre and plays was born. The idea of putting on stage a kind of real world and creating a perspective as if watching a slice of that real life through a fourth wall, which required an ever greater psychological realism of performers who worked on these plays. Stanislavski worked on major plays by Chekhov between 1898 and 1904, as well as plays by Henrik Ibsen and Maxim Gorky, which all firmly established this practice of realist theatre. It was coming out of this process that Stanislavski began to develop a grammar of acting, what developed into his system. And from 1906 onwards, he was using these techniques in his own work to develop particularly a very famous role in Turgenev's A Month in the Country, which happened in 1909. And later on, the turmoil in Russia in the immediate and longer aftermath of the Russian Revolution of 1917 did mean that Stanislavski and the Moscow Art Theatre toured internationally, perhaps more than many other companies would have done at that time. Due to the loss of income from the revolution in Stanislavski's family, meant that he was looking to write for personal income and published some of his most famous books from this period of his work, An Actor Prepares and Building a Characters, both of which focus really tightly on these acting techniques that he was working on at the time. So key amongst his ideas, I would say, is this idea of a very systematic approach to performance. As we've mentioned, he was the author of a kind of realist approach to creating psychologically motivated characters. Central to this was the need for actors to understand their characters' actions and intentions, which would be discovered through textual analysis, and also to utilize their imaginations to place themselves as if their situation were real for them. Linked to this is an experiential approach to embodying a character. So the character is, and their emotions are presented rather than represented. So linked to this as a performer, you kind of immerse yourself in the sensory world of the play. On his return to Russia and in his later years, Stanislavski also continued to experiment throughout his life. And although his work away from realistic performance was never as well known in Western Europe, a key area of experiment from this period was active analysis. This is an approach where the company, directors, and performers move systematically together between very close analysis of scenes and improvisation of the actions of that scene, which have been identified. And through this process, a shared understanding is evolved of the scene's underlying actions, and the text kind of sits along on top of those underlying actions. In fact, it was female director Maria Nabel who was incredibly important in continuing to work with this technique and to document both her and Stanislavski's activities, so that a lot of what is understood today comes through Nabel's writing rather than from his. So things to think about. Well, Stanislavski's legacy is enormous. In the USA, a powerful impact was seen through the adoption of his work and later that of Michael Chekhov, another Moscow Art Theatre actor and nephew of the writer Anton, in the development of approaches to film, particularly in Lee Strasberg's influential method approach to acting. In the UK, we can see Stanislavski's impact on our stages today, often seen through directorial approaches. A host of significant British directors have trained in Russia with, for example, Lev Dodin, and this includes director Katie Mitchell, Declan Donnellan at the company Cheek by Jowl, and Michael Boyd's tenure at the Royal Shakespeare Company. It's also really important to recognise that Stanislavski didn't operate in a vacuum. He was constantly developing his work and ideas in response to and in collaboration with other creatives, actors, writers, directors, and educators, and to what was happening within the zeitgeist of his time. I think it's particularly exciting now that recognition is emerging for other collaborators, such as Maria Nabel, in continuing to explore and disseminate processes such as active analysis that are now really seen as very central in a lot of young emerging practitioners' work. So I hope that gives you some of the flavour for the range and significance of Stanislavski, and there are a lot of links and further resources that you can click on this page. But perhaps the most exciting way to engage with his work is also to test out some of his ideas for yourself. And a lot of tools for doing that with can be found in the wonderful Bella Merlin's Complete Stanislavski Toolkit. I hope that's been interesting for you. Good luck with your own work, and thank you for watching.